Good evening. Welcome back, everyone.
Hello, hello.
All right, let's get into our warming up, bit of strength and mobility, and we'll get into our small sensor. All right. Let's get our bodies moving. Standing feet parallel, shoulder width. Bending forward from the hips, keeping the back nice and straight. And a little bit of a stretch through your hamstrings. Standing back up. Taking it down. Standing back up. Make sure you engage your glutes when you stand back up in particular. Hope you've got your heavy thing ready so that you can sit down and hold onto your kettlebell or dumbbell or a chair to stop yourself falling backwards if you don't have a squat mobility yet. Then lift your bum up, give yourself a nice stretch in the hamstrings, and then straight back up, squeeze in here as you stand back up. Repeat that movement, taking it down, dropping the bum, lifting the bum, feeling the glutes engage as you stand back up. Keep it going, down, drop, up, up, down, drop, lift, up. Try a few without going forward now. So we're going to sink straight forward, straight down rather. You will still tilt a little bit forward, but the aim is to go kind of straight into the squat without leaning forward, first of all. And same on the way back up, straight back up. Now, you might not get that low. You should be able to get that low if you're holding onto your kettlebell, or you might just need to sort of lean forward a bit more. So the straighter you keep your body, the more mobility you need in order to maintain the movement, you see. So we're aiming to be able to come straight down like that with just, see how my back is, no one can squat like that with their back vertical like that. I've never seen anyone anyway, because the center of gravity just won't go enough forward if you don't lean forward at all. But if you have to lean forward this much, well, then you're probably a bit immobile. So you should be able to still, sit and have a conversation with someone. You shouldn't feel like you're looking at the floor when you go into your squat. Okay, one more. And let's go onto our hands and knees. Then do some work on the shoulders. Since we're doing small sensor tonight, it's important. Let's just do a bit of cat-cow for the spine first. Okay, let's stand up into a plank. Now you can do a knee plank if you need to, like I mentioned, or a full plank. Tucking your pelvis under, engaging your core, keeping your hips level with your body so they're not stuck up in the air, but nor are they hanging down here, and just kind of in a straight line with the rest of your body, okay? A little bit of a shift side to side. Now let's try and open up to a side. As I've shown you before, if you need to drop a knee down like so, you can do so, or hold the full side plank. Take it to the other side. Again, drop your knee if you need to. Take it back the other way. This time, see if you can drop your hip onto the floor. Give yourself a nice stretch through the bottom of that hip, up through your rib cage. Again, you can put your knee, bend your knee in like so. It'll make it easier so that the knee closest to the ground. Back up, spin around to the other side. And again, drop the hip down. Working on stretching, mobility, and strength all at once. Lifting it back up. Again, back to the other side. This time, we're going to take this hand all the way around to the rear. Drop your bum on the ground if you need to get into that position. You might only be able to hold a lower position, that's fine. But ultimately trying to get into a reverse plank. And again, just sort of swishing your weight from side to side a little bit forward and back. Just kind of move around a little bit in the position. You're strengthening up your shoulders at all different angles. Bend your knees. Push your hips up higher if you're able to. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And pull your shoulders down towards your hips rather than up towards your ears. Straighten it back out into a full plank. And then take it over into the side plank again. Do a bit of walking. Back to here. Walk forwards. Backwards. Into a squat. Walk forwards. You can't get into a squat, just go back as far as you're able to. Backwards. Forwards. Backwards. This time, walk forwards, walk your feet forwards, tuck them in here like so. So you're just standing on the balls of your feet. Take your hands behind you. Sit back into your heels. Take your hands further behind you. So you're just sitting there, swinging your bum off the ground like a little hammock. If you find that very easy, then lengthen out a little bit more from the legs and the hands. Still just swinging your bum. If you find that very easy, then come back up into the reverse plank. And then what we're going to do from here is drop it back down. We're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. And then walk our hands back out to the length. Like so. And again, walking forwards. If you can't manage that, put your bum down, move your hands, shuffle, move your hands, shuffle. Same on the way back. Move your bum, shuffle your hands, move your bum, shuffle your hands. Okay? That's the really easy version. Try and keep it at least so that you can do something. Something's better than nothing. The most difficult version, of course, is lifting your hips as you're going back. Keeping your hips up and only dropping them as you come in closer to your feet. Let's come facing each other. into a wide open squat this time, opening up your hips, like so. You're going to place your hands on the ground in front of you, like this, and see if you can touch one knee on the ground. And then the other knee, using your hands for stability. Touching the knee, and touching the knee. If you're finding you're okay with that, just try to do the same thing without using your hands, okay? Okay, put your hands back on the ground. This time, try to take your knee to the side rather than to the front. So out to that same direction that the knee and the foot are already facing. So towards the sort of 45-degree corner. But I'm still using my hands here, you see? Just to get that so that I'm not plonking. I don't want to come crashing down into my knee. Just nice light touch, okay? Obviously, I'm coming up onto the ball of the foot of the knee, which is going down. The other foot is staying flat on the ground. Now, again, if you're okay with that, if you're not, then just keep doing that one. But if you can manage it, see if you can manage to get that one without touching the ground with your hands. And from that position, again, hands on the ground. Stand right up onto the balls of your feet as high as you can. Bit of balance here and drop it back down. If you're okay doing that, the balance of your hands, right, without the balance of your hands, till you can get that nice and stable. Back down and back up again. Now we'll do one more, then we'll get into our small sensao. This one's really good for your back, your glutes, legs, just about everything really. Okay, you're going to stand slightly wider than shoulder width and simply take your opposite elbow to opposite knee, like so. Notice how I'm kind of leaning down over it. I'm not going like this. I'm not squatting down into it. I'm hinging from the hips. My knees are just slightly bent, and I'm hinging from the hips to drop down. Drop the other elbow down, lift it back up, drop it down, lift it up, drop it down, lift it up. Notice my weight is going towards that leg which I'm touching, so my weight's over here now, you see. Then I'm coming up, then shifting the weight over, drop, lift on that leg, take it over, drop, lift, over, drop, lift, over. That's the exercise. You should be able to feel your glutes working. Your back nice and straight, never rounding your back in this movement. All right, nicely warmed up now. Let's get into our small sensor. Oh, the house is nice and warm today. It's warmed up a bit over the course of the day. It's 13.5 degrees. It was 12 degrees when we woke up this morning. All right, let's get into it. Small sensor. Lesson 4. Some more culprits are here to do some sensor. So just to let everyone know, this is the last week of the free trial of these classes. So anyone who is interested in continuing with these classes, please get in touch with me. You'll need to take out one of our membership packages to be able to continue with these classes. I have sent an email out to everyone who is registered and following these classes. If you haven't received that, please let me know and I will send the information to you again. You should have received the email though. And anyone else, if you're watching on YouTube and you're not registered, then you need to just get in touch with me somehow, leave a comment or send me an email. You should have my details there on the YouTube channel. Yeah, so into February, we will be, you'll need your membership to continue with these live classes. Same goes for the Wednesday night class for the slow form. All right, let's get moving with this small sensor. Let's have a play through it to start with. Nice and relaxed, nice and loose. Mirror me. To center. Keep it going. Let's just keep doing it like that for a little while. Get used to the moves. Okay, let's just go over recap a few important points with that set of movements. So, footwork, let's just quickly run through it. Swivel. Remember, I said at the end of this class, if I forget, please remind me, at the end of this class, I will demonstrate for you what you need to send me in your video, if you're interested in getting some corrections anyway. So having myself have a look at what you're doing properly, you'll send me a video of a section of what we've done, and I'll critique it for you and give you some advice as to where you need to go with your training. So footwork, don't forget the footwork. Okay. Oh, hands. Feet start going like this. Think about your footwork. Okay. Footwork's the most important. Shifting the weight. Feet moving together. Moving from your center. Remember, I said to learn this form, make sure you've got no friction. Okay. Socks on a smooth surface is the ideal way to learn small sensei. That doesn't mean you have to have socks on a smooth surface in order to do it. But having that really smooth, it's just so nice and easy. It allows you to feel the movement nice and smoothly. It allows you to do the movement a little bit slower rather than having to use a lot more momentum, things like this. So it is very beneficial from a learning standpoint. Obviously, you should be able to do it barefoot. Certain shoes will not allow you to swivel properly. They'll just grip the floor too well. So that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to stop you from slipping. So that's not good footwear for practicing something like small sensei. Let's take a step forward and swivel back. Take a step forward, swivel back. Notice I still have shoulder width here. When I step back, I'm not stepping here in line with the other foot. I'm stepping in line with where my foot already is, you see? Swivel it back, step forward, swivel it back. Notice the feet, one, together. Again, this one in particular will be made much, much easier if you put on a pair of socks on a smooth surface. Or like a cotton-soled training slipper or something like that. like a Taiji shoe, things like this. Just something that allows you to swivel without having to use, because see how slowly I can do it because I'm wearing socks. If I wasn't wearing socks, I think you've seen me do it without socks a few times, it would have to be a little bit more abrupt to make the swivel happen. So it's extremely important in the beginning to stay calm, stay relaxed, get the body movement flowing nicely. Feet parallel at the end, feet arriving at the same time. Rear foot turning to the corner, not getting left to the front like this. That's probably the most common thing that I see is that. And the reason for that is the balance goes off. As soon as you start to swivel, people get the first, you get about half the swivel to happen nicely. Then their body weight tips forward, in which case the weight goes more into the middle or even into the ball of the foot, and the foot can't swivel anymore. If there's weight on the ball of your foot, you're not going to be able to turn it. So one of two things usually happens. Either the balance goes off just a little bit, and in which case the foot just gets stuck because your weight's kind of in the middle of the foot, and so neither portion of the foot can swivel. Another option is, another error that people make, is they start swiveling the way up. The weight goes so far forward that the heel becomes empty, and then the heel swivels, the heel pivots rather something like that, you see. But it means you're chopping and changing through the movement. It means you're not balanced. You should be grounded and balanced in that movement. When we're doing a toe swivel for that, you see my whole, I'm going this way. All my energy is going back this way. I don't want that for this particular type of movement. Sometimes we swivel on the toes, sometimes we swivel on the heels, dependent on what application, what power source, what we're doing in that movement. There's so many things in martial arts. I'd like to give you a little bit of a talky thing whilst we're just drilling our footwork here. So keep drilling. Don't just sit down and listen to me. You've got to keep your footwork drilling. But rather than just doing it in silence, I can use this time to tell you a few things. Too often, you see martial artists, they have a one-track mind. You must swivel on the toes. That's the only way to do it. No, you must swivel on the heels. That's the only way to do it. You must punch. No, punches are horrible. You must palm. You must punch with these knuckles. No, you must punch with these knuckles. All these silly arguments that people have. You must look him in the eyes. No, you should look over his shoulder. No, you should look at his chest. They're all valid. You should, to only do one, you're going to limit yourself. It's like saying you should only ever throw straight punches and never a hook punch, or never throw a low punch, or never kick someone, or, you're limiting what you can do by having that attitude. Okay, let's go back to the form. So remember, we're recapping a lot more this week because we've already learned quite a lot of stuff, right? We've learned the first move, 1, 2, 3, repeat, 4. We've learned 4 major postures over 4 weeks. This is our 4th week. I'm not going to give you any new movements tonight. We're going to recap. We're going to go over it in detail because it's this section of form which I'm going to ask you to send me the video if you want me to critique it. So this opening move. Really make sure, the common thing that I see here is the hand sort of sweeping in from the side, or even if it's pumping forward, see how my elbow is already out. You see, I've flared my elbow out and then it's going like this. That's not a good strike. Tuck your elbow in, you see, and then see it just twists over just towards the end of the movement. See that? It's nicely tucked in to about halfway through the movement, even a bit past halfway. And then it just kicks over towards the end. You see? If you go like that, you've lost power, you've telegraphed what's happening, you've opened up your ribs way too soon, so your ribs are more open for a longer period of time. Your ribs are obviously still open here, but at least they're only open at the end, and then you can cover them back up again, you see? So suck it in, drive it out. See how the thumb is on top. Thumbs up for correct technique. Thumbs up, and then twist it, thumbs down, finish him. Other arm, nice sweeping action. Ready to get it. Remember, it's got to come across into your center. Don't just bring it up to the side like that. That's probably the most common mistake with the blocking arm, is just lifting the arm to the side. We need to raise the arm through the center. So the arm actually has to come a little bit across the body, like so that it meets the center down low. That's going to happen just there as I start shifting my weight, and then it comes across. So it's kind of a combination. It's not like the hand comes all the way to here before you start turning. It's more like it's kind of a combination, you see. The hand's traveling over. It's got, I need to get to the center, but then the center kind of turns into it. They connect, and then they sweep back together, you see. So, boom. But for the majority of that movement, your blocking hand is on your center, you see. 90% weight in the back leg for this one. Very, very evasive, okay? So we're not staying over here. You're very getting out of the way type of a technique. Remember, it's strike, hold, drop. See? Wow, like, wow, what are you going to do there? You know, you're sort of holding him back, like, hang on, chill out. Okay. And then you drop your hands. As opposed to a normal punch, boom, where you might pull your hands straight back to here, which is usually the advised thing to do. But in certain predicaments, you might be better off kind of, you know, holding your frame up to stop him getting in. You're basically assuming that you've started off with a strike. He's struck you, you've struck him back. But from there, it's kind of become a little bit more grappling based. So he's thrown that punch. Oh, maybe he managed to block that or something, or your strike just wasn't powerful enough. And then he's sort of leaning in onto you, pushing into you, trying to cram you down and get you into a clinch or something like that. So you go, hang on, you know, now you're kind of holding him back. That's the idea to the movement. You see, just holding that position there and then dropping it. Now remember, this is a training tool. In reality, as soon as you go, boom, you're gonna change your feet. You're gonna be moving. You're not just gonna be sitting here swiveling back and forth in a fighting situation. You would never. You might very well be in that position for the first thing, because you're training yourself to be able to take impact and deflect force from a not so perfect fighting stance. If you're always, I can only fight if I'm in a good stance, well, you know, you might be hanging around like this. Whoa, someone attacks you and you're in a not so good stance when somebody attacks you abruptly and you don't realize it coming. But that doesn't mean that you go, okay, now it's on, now I'm fighting, and I'm not going to stay in a stance like this. This is just the training tool. We don't want to start giving people 100 million, like, oh, go here, then go here, then go, little wrestle, then come back to here, now drop the hands, now do it on the other side. It would take away the whole flow and concept of the small San Sao. To think about it from a two martial perspective, we've got to remember this is still a form. It's still a training tool. It's not straight up fighting techniques. Okay, let's take it down into the low block. Now remember with that one, see that follow through on the movement. That's the most important thing here. Look, see, that's where you heard the hit, but just a little bit, not too much, just that, you see, as opposed to this stopping where they touch. It just travels through just an extra couple of inches or so to make sure that you are deflecting that force around you. And it really does make a big difference. Any of you who have trained it as a partner exercise or used it in a sparring situation or anything like that, if you just kind of drop it like that, It'll still save you. It'll still stop you getting hit. But if you can just twist it through just that little bit, just as I say, anything more than that, and you're going to expose yourself. You've turned the back of your head to his other punch, you see, so you can't turn through very far. But just that little extra turn, you're still safe, you're still in a good position, but it will deflect his force, especially in the situation where he's much bigger than you. So that's what we're doing here. Make sure that outer hand stays yang, inner hand is yin, and then as they come together, they change yin to yang. Make sure that top hand is really nice and up. It's not sort of getting a bit lazy like this. Flex it nice and tall, like so. See, the intent is on the upper arm here. It's not on the lower arm like this with the hand doing a lot of movement. It's the elbow, you see. It's a hinge. Hence the term hinge block. Okay. That's the movement. So we've taken it up, take it down, into there like so. Okay. Now we're 80-20. Remember, we are not back in that 90% stance like we were with the first one. That's a really important detail. Remember that. 80-20 when we're in that stance. Thereabouts. Doesn't have to be exact. We take the wrist, we grab as we shift the weight, take the step forward, keeping the center loaded, and then release the force. There's the back fist. Let the hands spring back, of course. Pop, let it spring back to here, and you just left yourself in the pung position. Okay, let's try that again from here. Take it down. Grab the wrist, step forward. That part can be done nice and slow in the beginning. And remember, from here, the top hand, this is a very key detail, the top hand has to move out to create the space for the back fist to come through. If you keep this locked in like this, see, now I've got no back fist power. I would have to do something else through the center line to get that. Just basically take your hand there and say, okay, whack. That's the movement I want to do, a lateral circular action. So now, see, I need to move my top hand accordingly so that it gets out of the way to allow me to do that movement. Let's try that on the other side from here down to there like so. Nicely tucked under with the pelvis, not sticking your bum out. Bending the knees a little bit, sinking down into your stance, and again, taking that off, 20% weight forward. Okay, take the wrist, step forward, keep your center loaded, move the hand out, and back fist back to here. Remember, the back fist is here in line with your standing leg. It's not somewhere over here, it's in line with the other leg or in your center or something. It's out here, directly over the top of your knee. Sorry, in line with your knee. It's not over the top of the knee because, of course, the hand is much further out than where the knee is. Bang. Okay, let's try that movement a few times back and forth. So from here, dropping it down, grab, whack. Just take it straight back to the opposite side. Take it down, grab, whack. Okay, reset. Other way. Grab, and strike. Bring it back, reset. Grab, strike. I think I did the same side that time, doesn't matter. From here, grab, reset. Okay. Remember, it's the top two knuckles in this case. Well, in the beginning, it's probably just going to be the whole hand, but at least it's that side of the hand. So these are the top two knuckles. These are the bottom three knuckles. Okay, so the middle one is the same. They overlap. But you've got your three smaller side. That creates a nice flat edge. If you can see, where's my camera? Up there. Or the top two create a nice flat edge. If you go in the middle, see only your middle knuckle touches on that flat line. Like so. So you want to hit either with those three, you get a nice flat line spreading the force out, or those two, which again gives you a nice flat line. If you're punching with the top two, in terms of a normal punch, you'd want to align those two bones with your radial bone, so the thumb side bone. If you're punching with the bottom three, you want to align those with the ulnar. Doesn't matter so much when it's a lateral force, though, with the back fist, because the force is traveling this way, okay, through the wrist. It's not traveling down into the forearm. So there's no force being transmitted into the wrist and the forearm here. But even so, regardless of whether you're doing a straight punch or a back fist or whatever, it's always revolved around the top two or the bottom three. So if it's the whole, like the back of the hand making the contact, you're still going to make the contact. My trusty dinosaur ruler out again. It's still going to make contact, you see, on those two or those three. So even if it's way back here on the hand, there's still sort of a flat ridge across those three and a flat ridge across those two. If you hit in the middle, you're likely to hurt that middle phalange in there, the bone. Now, keeping in mind, you would only ever hit with the back of the hand portion if it were going somewhere very soft like the neck anyway. So in which case, it's going to sort of mold around your fist. So in that case, your whole hand's just going to hit. But if you did manage to hit something hard, bony, you'd be aiming with, one side or the other. So in case of this first back fist, you should be projecting those top two, hence the angle, you see. A lot of people I see doing the posture like this. See how the angle of the palm? That's going to be the bottom three, or maybe even just the bottom one. It needs to be ever so slightly, see, tilted that way, so you can see those top two knuckles being pushed out a little bit. They're being projected. These knuckles are kind of folding in, and those two are being projected out. That's how we should be striking with that particular movement there. Like so. Okay, let's go on to the second back fist. So we'll go into it as it's done in the form. So from that position, we're about 60% forward. We're going to do our footwork that we just did in the warm-up session. Bang. Just bring this one across in that same hinge action. Make sure it's yang to start the hand so it can release yin. Top hand's already yin, of course, and it's going to chop down into a yang hand. From there, like so. Okay, again, everything, the structure is the same. The only difference is you're not coming from there, you're just coming from here. So the footwork's different, of course, but that's happening there. Okay, so this time we're going to push the hand forward instead of down, jam it in forward, but bringing this one up at the same time. Whack. Technically speaking, the bottom hand does hit just before the top hand. But if you're learning this for the first time, it's easier just to think about it as being together, because we don't want people doing something like this, you see? Two distinct clear shots. It's definitely not that. If you watch the move, see, that's the movement. They're extremely close together. That should start to happen naturally once you start putting power behind the movement. When you're just doing it very slowly, okay, that's nice. And remember last week we talked about how the hand, the striking hand, is a little forward and a little down. The natural extension of the elbow creates a downward force, like so. But obviously the extension of the arm also creates a forward force. So it's, it's coming up and boom. So it is going forward. Don't think too much one or the other. So I see a lot of people sort of going like this, trying to think down like it's a downward strike. It's not a downward strike, but boom, nor is it this, like a forward jabbing type of action. It's that. It's you follow the circle, but the contact point is this is going to go forward. Stay there. Here's the circle. Here comes the fist. Your contact point is here, you see. If I made contact at 3 o'clock over here, it'd be a totally downward strike. If I made contact at 12 o'clock, boom, you see, the force would be traveling, it'd go off at a tangent to that circle. So it'd be going forwards. So my strike should be somewhere around, I don't know, between 1 and 2 o'clock sort of thing. So you're coming up that circle and about there between 1 and 2 o'clock, you see. That's going to give you that nice slight downward angle, and with whichever strikes you happen to be doing there, the targets that I gave you last week when I showed you the application, that's going to fit in there really nicely. Straight down is not going to work so well because you'd have to really lift up to get any sort of power to come vertically down. Your body weight is coming forward, you see, so you can utilize a lot of that force to project forward. But then you've also got the opening and the closing, which gives you that downward intent and just the natural motion of the elbow. If your elbow's here, the arm goes sideways. If your elbow's here and you extend the arm, it goes forwards like that, you see? But if your arm's here, coming from the side, kind of creates a bit of a downward angle, the natural mechanics of the movement. So that's what we're trying to achieve there. See? And that's where it pulls back in, you see? So there's the up, where my fist clenches, where my fist hits, bang, at that sort of between 1 and 2 o'clock mark. Then by the time I'm getting down to 3 o'clock and continuing that circle, the hands just controlling back in, you see? They're just circling back in so that they're ready for whatever's going to happen next. That's the idea. You see? Now, in the beginning, you're probably going to have a slightly bigger circle, naturally. This part's always quite circular. It has to be a certain amount of circular to get it through the trap here, you see? I can't make it too small because I need to get my hand to its target point. But from the target point onwards and back to guard, in the beginning, you might be doing something like that. You see, that's a relatively large circle. And that's okay to begin with, to get that flow and circularity happening. But try, see, shrink that circle. Big, small. That's the idea of it. The bigger circle comes on the first half, and then it's like a little circle on the end. Like so. Because, yeah, obviously we don't want our hands dropping down towards the ground in that movement. The other hand does basically the same thing. It pushes forward, but because the whole body kind of pushes down a little bit with that movement, it sort of just flows along with the movement. And the shove into that person's body creates quite a nice little strike into them and pushes them down with that little bit of downward intent into the movement. Okay, so step, keep your shoulders loaded, keep everything loaded. Now, forward, pop. See? Four, bum. That's where the fist goes through. 1, 2. Okay. Notice the center is not dead square to the front. It's just a little bit open, fractionally open, but you've still turned to the front. Don't, when I say slightly open, don't sort of sit out here like this. Someone looking at you, they say, hey, he's kind of facing towards the front. But that's the true front. It's just relaxed from the true front. Okay. Okay, let's drill that one out. Other side. This is not the other side. This way. Okay. Notice where the hands are to finish. It's right hand particularly. The right hand, the defensive hand, the lower hand, that's the most important one to do something different with it after you've done all stroke. So the back fist component of it, this hand, pretty much just the natural strike. It's already in a pretty good position, right? As long as you're doing the strike correctly. If you're doing the strike like this, then obviously you'd have to think, oh, I need to bring it back up into my ready position. If you're doing the strike correctly, it should come back up to here. Whereas the other hand, if you're sort of thinking the application, oh, that's on his elbow, your hand might be tempted to stay down there. Whereas his neck is here, boom. Yeah, when it bounces off his neck, it's at head height because you're hitting at head height. This is down at elbow height, down, it's in here. See, that's where your arm would be, compressing that into me. So it's sometimes tempting to leave the hand there. So make sure, see, That's got it's again on that circular movement, it circles back up so that it's at that neck height to finish the technique. Let's go this way. See, up here. Backhand in front of your lip. Right the other way. This way. It's nice. I'm getting a little bit warm now. Oh, I might even be am I getting warm enough to take a shower tonight? For those who don't know, our boiler is broken. It has been for the last 10 days, and we've had no heating or hot water. So it's been, well, between 12 and 13 degrees house temperature. And because we don't have any other heating in the house apart from the central heating. And of course, the water temperature at the moment, thankfully, it's not that cold at the moment. So the water temperature is about 6 to 7 degrees, somewhere around there. So showering's not terrible. It's not like it's it's not like it's an icy winter and the water's 2 degrees or something. But yeah, if I get warm enough, then I'm like, oh, okay, have a really quick shower, and then it's much more bearable than when you've been sitting at the office and you get a bit cold and then you go and have a shower and then it's like, oh, I'm already cold. I don't want to go in the cold shower. Okay, let's do that a couple more times. Let's do the whole thing from the beginning. 1, 2, into the low one. 2, opposite way. 2, down. 2, opposite way again. Actually, I'm going to flip around so you get a different aspect. Let's go this way. I'm going to move backwards a little bit because I threw that punch then and I went. Ooh. So I was just about to go splat. So yeah, that's fine. I can still stay in frame. Okay, let's go the other way. The way. It's funny. What I said about socks before, another little tip for you. When you're doing it slower, like how we started off, the slippery socks make it quite nice. Ah, yeah, that's nice. That's nice for the smoothness. Whereas just there, still not doing it at full pace, but at that sort of pace that I was doing it at, it started feeling a bit like, oh, hang on, I'm going to slip over. Especially when you come into a strike, you kind of, my feet are actually, genuinely quite slippery at the moment. But as I said, it's 12 degrees in here, so I'm keeping my socks on. But yeah, so just pointing that out, for learning nice and slow, better to have something much slipperier on your feet. Once you get in the hang of it, you want to go a little bit quicker, take your socks off. You'll feel that you can feel like you can still swivel, but when you step, you'll feel like you're not going to do this kind of thing and slip forward. You'll feel like you've got a nice control. Having said that, it's always good practice for you to practice striking. Boom! Okay, yeah, rather than shit and then falling to the ground, because if a lot of you live in Europe, America, places where there's ice on the ground. You get attacked and you're walking across some very, very frozen ground. You haven't got that nice connection, that nice, stable, grippy connection. You got to throw a punch, and maybe that happens and you fall over. So it's actually quite beneficial to practice throwing punches using much more waist-driven power than leg, hip-driven power, because that, if you're on ice, isn't going to work. Whereas twisting, there's no traction needed when you're just doing this, when you're just twisting your waist. The traction will still help, but it will work without. So that's a nice little benefit of being able to strike using purely centrifugal power from your waist, which is a lot of what we do in Taiji, as opposed to always relying upon this kind of leg-powered movement. Okay, right. We're going to finish off with a little bit of bag work. Before I get onto that, while I've got time so I don't run out of time, those of you who wish to get your form critiqued, okay, obviously this January has been the free trial. You can all try out this little exercise of me critiquing you as part of the free trial. So if you've followed these classes, you can send me a video. If you wish to send me a video, the easiest way is to send me a quick little clip on WhatsApp. But any other way, upload it to YouTube or just set it to unlisted so no one else can see it, or just email me and ask for some advice. If you're unsure of how to do it, just let me know and I'll help you out. All I want you to do is the small sansao from here, what we've done. Bang, drop, bang, just at the speed and velocity that you're comfortable with. Bang, bang, bang. Then reset, do the whole thing the other way. Just do it all facing straight towards the camera. I can pretty much pick up everything that's going wrong by seeing that one angle. So just do it left and right sides with that. I will, if you have a bag and you're following the bag stuff as well, I will get you to show me just the bang, 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 if you wish as well. So that's, again, it's all up to you. If you sort of like, I don't really do the bag stuff much, well, don't send me that. But if you're thinking, oh, I like the small sansao, I really like the flow of it and this kind of thing, send me that. So yeah, send me what you want, but obviously out of those two things, don't send me a bunch of other stuff for correction. It's got to be with relevance to this class. Okay, let's get our bags up. Get our wives in. You darling? Okay, so I'm actually getting quite warm now, but I'm going to leave all my jackets on so I can go and have a shower in some heat built up. All right. Yeah, we'll just do 10 minutes of this, and then we'll do any questions any questions that people have about either this or the small sansao that we've done. Right, so let's get back to our first combo of strikes. So we've got left foot forward, we've got palm, palm, body punch, palm. Very, very simple to start off with. So that's the method that we've learned so far. Obviously, we've practiced the small sansao at a basic level, just sort of doing that. But the primary thing I want you to send me in terms of bag stuff will just be that bang, 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 okay? We've already learned it. Jab palm, cross palm, boom, body hook punch, boom, and a cross palm to the head to finish. So we'll go over that a little bit more recapping and details, and that's what, and again, just for the video, do it in case of this from like the angle you can see me now. So set your camera up there so that so it's to the left or the right, it doesn't matter where the camera is, and bang, 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 bang. Do it. Since it's just a couple of seconds, maybe do it 3 times, something like that. Switch sides, boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Do it 3 times each side so you get into a little bit of a thing, and that way I'll get to see a good overview of what it is you're practicing. After you send me that video, I will then send you back a video. This is why WhatsApp's the easiest, because you can just send me it on WhatsApp. I can just have a quick look, set my camera up. All right, so what you need to work on when you're doing this, you're dropping your hand down here, you're going to get punched. I'll tell you whatever mistakes you're making and how to correct those mistakes. And that's how these classes are going to continue. At the end of every month, you'll get that opportunity. I'll tell you, right, for this month, you're going to send this, this, and this. Send it in to me. I will send it back to you and give you some corrections. And of course, if you feel like the corrections I've given you are like, whoa, okay, I haven't quite got those, and you feel like you want a little more of that personal correction, you can always purchase a couple of extras. You get one per month as part of the package of the lessons, but you can obviously take a couple of extras with that same philosophy of just send me a quick little video of you doing this. Like maybe you sort of do it, you think, oh, I think I've corrected what he told me to, but I'm not sure. So you can send me in a follow-up video. And then I'll send something back going, yeah, that's much better now. This is this, but now you've created another little error. So you can do it like that as well. And if you really want to do something extreme, you can take a Zoom like this, but a private class Zoom. So there's all sorts of options for training personally online. So anyone interested in that, just get in touch and we'll talk about that. All right, let's just punch the thing first. Punch and palm it. So left foot forward, weight about 60% in the back leg. You're going to go bang with that front hand, bang with the rear hand, pop it out, nice and snappy. See? Keep your hands up. None of this stuff, please. Keep your hands up. Pom pom. Do not drop them down. Okay? Slap. Hot potato. Right? This is a hot plate. You're going to burn your hand. Imagine it's a hot plate. Tap it. That's not going to burn your hand. I've even got my 3-year-old daughter going like this to candles now. She's like, oh, look, it doesn't burn my hand when I do it quickly. Fantastic. I did warn her to only do that when we're present, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, all the strikes, very, very rare. There are cases, but very rare we ever leave our hand on the target. I only do that for specific techniques. But basic striking, bang, hit it, bring it back. That's the technique. Bang, and bang. See, think about, not really speed, but pop, okay? I'm not going particularly fast now, but I'm just getting that idea of popping it in and out, see? That's what we want. A little bit of a sound as you do it. Your sound, the sound you make. I'll go over this in more detail in future classes, but just a little introduction to it now. The sound you make should match what you're doing. Okay? It does not make sense to go like this. So those two things are not connected, you see? Look at the energy behind that strike. That sound. Doesn't matter what the sound is. I don't care what the sound is, but the frequency of the sound is similar to what I'm doing with my body. Now, if I were to go, okay, now see that louder sort of sound matched the movement a little bit better in that case. So that's all I'll say about that for now, but that's the idea. Your sound must match what it is you're doing. Otherwise, the two things will never link, and therefore the sound won't help your strike. The purpose of making sounds when we strike is to help your body compress and engage in the right way to deliver that type of power. Okay, so you have to know the type of sound for the type of strike that you're doing. It's pretty logical, really. You should be able to just work it out on yourself. It's not like some magical secret or something, but that's the idea to it. So just make sure you're at least breathing out, okay? Whatever. See, for that one there, for me, it's a bit of an F sound. See? Hands up, hands up. Switch sides. Opening up the center, you can see? front leg, so front foot on the heel. Don't go into the ball of the foot with your front foot. You should be weighted on your heel for your grounded leg, your weighted leg. What? Notice the rear leg is popping up a little bit on the heel. Not a lot. It's not driving over because I'm opening my center. I'm turning this way, you see? So there's no reason to lift the foot up a lot. It just is just ever so slightly naturally coming up a little bit. So it's kind of like in position. Now it's ready. It's going to twist over for that second strike. So for either one of those strikes, that one there, that one there, make sure you're never feeling a lot of pressure in the ball of that front foot. Okay? So again, make sure your weight's about 60% back, 55 to 60% back. So it's like you're almost double. Not quite dead in the middle, just a little bit towards the back leg from 50-50. It means you can throw your strikes out really quickly. Okay? If you're way back on the back foot, you see, you've got a lot more body mass to get moving. Okay? When you're fully back, it takes a bit of time to get something moving. So if you were fully back, you'd be better off doing some other kind of strike. You see, I'm keeping like a back weighted sort of a strike. So I can still hit him, but not with this particular body mechanic. So there's all different ways of striking, of course. So again, from there, have some pressure in that front foot. Open the hips up, open the center up, twist it back the other way. For now, we're trying to keep it at a long range. Obviously, later on, we'll start going into closer range strikes. But for now, we're just Okay, so the elbow at point of contact is almost straight, like that. That's where I'm hitting it. Obviously, there's a little bit of push in to the thing that you're hitting. So at the furthest point, my elbow is almost straight. It's not dead straight because then you can damage your elbow, hyperflexing it, that kind of thing. Just keep it relatively at the full reach. If you really need reach, this is when we need to start using fists. See? Look how much more reach I get with the fists. I can't reach that with a palm. You see, you gain probably 3 to 4 inches, depending on your hand size, with a fist comparatively to a palm. That's the benefit of the fist, but you're at much more risk when hitting to the head and breaking your own hand. So there's that. We'll talk more about that as the classes continue. So one little pop, little pop. Okay, the lower strikes. Let's go back to the left leg forward. Bang, bang. So you're nicely loaded to that side from that previous shot. You're simply going to slightly shift your weight back to your rear leg, like so. And bring that one in there like that. So when I say shift your weight back, I don't mean this. Don't shift into your back leg. This whole striking sequence is like 60-40, 60-40 either side, or even 55, 55-45. It's like just a little bit that way and a little bit that way. So from that slightly back position, boom, I'm just slightly forward now. From like there's 50-50, I'm there. Now when I throw this one, boom, see? Just ever so slightly in my right leg, and then again I'm going to come back to my left leg, boom, for the final strike. So the whole thing, you're only shifting your weight a very small amount. The body punch, you're going to make a fist. You're going to make the fist, in this case, assuming you've done everything as I'm doing it. You haven't come in close. If you've come in close, you'd have to do a different type of punch, see? Same punch, but different angle. Thumb on top kind of angle, vertical angle. You get the horizontal angle, naturally, when it's a bit further away. If you're even a little bit further away, for whatever reason, you'd start tipping it down a bit further again. So basically, close range, medium range, long range when it comes to that hooking type of punch. So assuming we're doing these like at a full sort of reach, and then assuming you're just doing a very slight shift into that back leg, boom, you should be more often than not doing a horizontal, and you'd be going with the top 2 knuckles in this case for this type of angle. Again, that can vary here and there, but as a basic rule, that's probably what I'd be going for. That one. Make sure it is coming in from the side. that punch. So you're going bang, bang, whomp. It is coming in from the side. Don't be tempted to sort of go more like this. See, now I'm just doing a straight punch, which the body mechanics don't really, won't really give you the best power for. So, boom. See, you're getting that power straight across into maybe the back of his kidneys or around the liver area, things like that. It's a very horrible place to be hit. Bang, bang. Oh. Now, obviously, you have to drop that hand in order to do that strike, but we don't want this. See, I've already dropped it way too early. Then, boom, like let your hand come back, then drop it. You see? Boom. What? It's coming through here. Boom. Okay, so nice and slowly to start. Boom, boom. See? Boom. You're dropping your weights just a little bit. Boom, boom. When you come down for that one, boom, boom. Just a little, not too much, just a slight bob down. Boom, as you throw that punch. And then the last shot, no different than the second shot. It's the same strike again, just from a different, slightly different positioning. Okay, again. Again, this is what we're looking for. Not huge power and speed, just good control, good movement. Keeping your guard hands up. Okay? As you can see, my feet are a little bit slippery because they're sliding on the socks. But again, it's keeping me warm and it's good training for fighting someone on a slippery surface. You never know when someone might attack you on an ice rink. Smooth. Remember, when sending in your video of that, you will impress me much more if you send this rather than something like this, okay? Trying to go too fast, too powerful for your current ability. Of course, if you feel like you've been punching a while and you can do it with a bit more speed and precision, a bit more speed and power and maintain precision, then by all means do that. Let's switch to the other side, a few more like that. Particularly make sure that even though you are dropping that hand in order to do this strike, bring it back up and do the final strike. Finish with it up here. Don't go here and leave your hand down. So you've got to have the hand down to do that low shot, but bring it back up as soon as you're able. As soon as you're able to, it's back up here, you see? All right. Let's take any questions we've got, and then we're going to stand still for a bit, do some Qigong. All right. Anybody got any questions for me? I can see the keyboard warriors in action. Is your boiler getting fixed tomorrow? Oh, good question. Thursday. Boiler's getting fixed Thursday. But thankfully, it is all covered by our insurance, so we don't have to pay the £1,000 to get it fixed. So we're very happy. I've never had boiler insurance before, but yeah, about 6 months ago, it was like I had to renew my energy company or something. I was like, oh, seems like kind of a good deal. Yeah, why not? I'll try it. And sure enough, 6 months later, the boiler blew up. So quite pleased with that, really. I've paid about £100 in insurance fees up until this point, and they've covered a £1,000 repair. So that's pretty good, if you ask me. How long will the recording? Usually about 2 months. Yeah, sometimes I forget to do anything with them and they stay up longer, but generally I put them up for 2 months. That's the standard protocol. Yeah. All right. Well, if that's all the questions, I'm gonna start standing still for a bit, do some qigong, and
One quick question, Eli. Can
yeah,
you
go
hear me?
for it.
It's Aram. Can you hear me?
Yep, I've got you.
When we were doing the exercises, the squat, when we were leaning to one knee or the other,
Yeah.
the warm up, I have a problem with the big toe that causes basically I can't flex my foot enough to
Ah, yeah.
touch the knee. The question, it's a bone spur. The question is, should I try to do it a different way, or should I just go as far as I can and see if it loosens up eventually?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with bone spurs. I would get some like physiotherapy advice or something on something like that.
Okay.
If they say that's something that, can gradually it's has the capability to improve, then
Mhm.
just take it super slow and steady. Don't start, yanking it in there. However, if the experts say, well, you can't really fix that, there's a thing in there, you've got a problem, it's a joint problem, you're just going to have
Mhm.
to live with that level of mobility. Always get lots of other opinions because you
Yes.
will get one person who says, oh, that's unfixable, you can't treat that. Then you go to someone else and they're like, of course you can, you do this and that. So always get a lot of, second opinions. But yeah, just listen to your own body, and then yeah, in terms of the rolling up, because that bending back of the toe being the limitation. I don't know if you could kind of roll over the other toes potentially, but then you might cause some excess pressure on the ankle. So I would probably, like, for the time being, if you can't do it, I'd say just skip that type of movement,
Okay.
and just focus on the ankle mobility of the squatting rather than the toe mobility, of the
I can
rolling
do it
forward.
fine on the other side, so
Yeah, yeah.
all
But
right.
yeah, if you've got such an issue like that, I would definitely, yeah, have a good look into it, because if it can be fixed, that you want your body to be functioning 100%. So yeah,
Excellent. Thank you.
nice. All right, I'm going to stand up, stand still for a bit. See how we go. Just going to grab a quick drink of water. All right, Qigong time. Mine. Ah, I got mail. In case anyone's new to this class, please note this section of the class is not a class. This is just anyone who already knows standing Qigong. We do a practice together. There's no instruction in this section. We have other classes to teach about this practice. Let's take the hands down to the low position. And slowly begin to close off. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And hopefully I will see you same time next week or on Wednesday night for Yang Transform. Have a good evening. See you later.
See you Wednesday.
Cool. See you then. Bye bye.